We live in an era where we thought the shark genre could not go anywhere fresh. Over the last 10 years, we've gotten The Shallows, 2 Meg movies, and 6 Sharknadoes, but none of them are like Dangerous Animals, which is the kind of movie, it's not trying to win any Oscars, it's not trying to be any sort of high art. It's a self-aware, campy horror thriller about a serial killer who disposes of his victims by feeding them to sharks. And honestly, it's kind of genius. It's one of those ideas that's so ridiculous that while you're watching it, you're like, you know what? This is kind of brilliant. I feel like this is the best straight to Redbox movie I've ever seen, and I mean that as the biggest compliment possible. And I want to get into it because a serial killer that feeds people to sharks feels like one of those fake movies that would be on a poster in the background of a Simpsons episode. It just sounds stupid. But these people made a movie where they knew it was kind of stupid and it still works well. It's a movie that just goes full in on the absurdity of the situation, and you could tell these writers, directors, whoever was involved in the crew had a great time making this. Even though this doesn't have the highest kill count in a horror movie, the ones they do throw in there are pretty creative. And even in the moments where nobody dies, this movie does a great job at building tension throughout. And I think a lot of the reason you buy into the tension and buy into the story is that the performances they get out of the actors that they have is truly incredible. Hassie Harrison is a performer I know nothing about. I have not watched Yellowstone, so I am not caught up on her talent, but what I do know is she is phenomenal in this movie. Like, phenomenal to the point that I didn't know a final girl in a horror movie could be this good at acting. I haven't seen that in a very long time. The character is written in a way early on where I thought she was going to come off cringy as like the I'm so independent, I don't need anybody looking out for me type, and she is that in the beginning, but they find so many emotional cracks that she could penetrate through, and by the end of the movie she goes through so many different stages of emotion, and I was really impressed. Like, going into this movie, I figured there was a chance it could be bad or I would have a fun time with it. I did not think that the main character would be played by such a good performer. I also didn't know Jai Courtney was in this. I know nothing about movies for the most part when I go into them. I try and stay as blind as possible. But for years, I have been wondering where Jai Courtney has been. Everyone called him Discount Tom Hardy, and then he kind of just fell off the face of the earth. He was definitely the best part of the 2016 Suicide Squad movie, and I don't even think it's close. And I know this isn't the biggest movie in the world, and he's not the biggest name in Hollywood, which proves the point that he's got to be one of the more underrated guys working today. Because I love a good villain, I love a fun villain, and Jai delivers on both of those things. He is charismatic when he needs to be, he is horrifying when he needs to be, he is sick in the head when he needs to be, and clearly his character has gone through some trauma that he still has to deal with. And a horror movie like this lives or dies on how much you buy into the villain, and I bought him here. You could tell he's just having so much fun with the role, and this is the type of character, if they made 3 or 4 movies with him, it's kind of like when Hugh Grant was in Heretic, where they could make the same movie 4 more times, and I think I wouldn't be bored. Like, I could just watch them all day and be fine with it. Horror movies like this always throw in a romance as well, and I would say 9 out of 10 times it feels like it's pointless, but somehow this one finds a way to work, and it's actually charming. Like, when you drop this kind of romance in a movie, I'm gonna roll my eyes most of the time, but they do it in a way here where it's just 2 people that happen to hook up one time, and all of a sudden it's like they're not super in love or anything like that, but they do it in a way where you could tell they kind of care about each other, and the whole thing feels authentic, and I did not expect that from the serial killer shark movie, and I don't think many other movies that are cut from the same cloth as this one would be able to pull off something like that. But that being said, I don't want to oversell Dangerous Animals to you in the sense that this is a super low budget movie, and there are a lot of points you could tell it's a low budget movie, but that being said, I still think they make a lot of it look pretty good. I think most of the cinematography, especially because there's a lot of aerial shots, and there's a lot of switching between daytime and nighttime, I think for the most part, like 93% of this movie looks really good, and then 7% of it is stock footage of sharks that they just overlaid in Premiere. And maybe I'm the fool here. Maybe they actually put these actors with the sharks. Did not look like it though. But you kind of expect that going in. It's like ordering Taco Bell. You don't need the ingredients to be gourmet. You're just happy if the food tastes good, it holds together, and it doesn't spill on your pants while you're driving. The humor here also works because it never feels cringy, even though the entire movie is very campy. There are moments where I genuinely laughed out loud a couple times, and during those times, a lot of people in my theater also were laughing. And sometimes that's all you need from a horror movie, right? It's silly, it's got good vibes, it's got a serial killer, maybe throw in a shark there, why not? Dangerous Animals is not a game changer to the world of movies, but it is fun and it is confident in knowing what it is. And when it feels like so many movies are just trying to copy trends over and over again, it's so refreshing for something that feels at least a little bit different. It's campy and weird in the best possible way. The cast is committed to the bit, and the premise is so bizarre that this is one of those movies I think if you threw it on for a room full of friends, you would want to see the reactions from them. It's a good time. It also feels like the kind of movie you would maybe stumble while you're changing the channels back in 2006 on cable, and then you decide to lock into the movie and you're like, oh my god, this is awesome. And then you remember it for the rest of your life. I miss movies like that. This is one of those movies. And to me, that's kind of beautiful. So I would recommend Dangerous Animals. I could go on more and more about the movie itself, but I think that'd be spoiling a lot of the creativity behind the kills. And I want you to be able to experience that for yourself. I think it's a good time. This is Chase. Thank you so much for watching as always. And if you are one of the real ones that knows that Jaws 2 is a pretty underrated movie, be sure to subscribe.